Douglas McCain, the eldest son of the late Senator John McCain, died suddenly on May 20th, 2026. He was 66 years old. No cause of death has been made public, and that word, suddenly, is doing a lot of heavy lifting here. No warning, no prolonged illness, just gone. Meghan McCain confirmed the news on Sunday, breaking the silence with an emotional message shared on social media. She wrote, "And I want you to really sit with these words. I am deeply saddened to share the news of my brother Doug McCain's sudden passing. He was a truly wonderful, joyful man who supported me throughout my life. He brought humor, fun, and great conversation to every room. I will cherish our memories together." Now, if you follow Meghan at all, you know she is not someone who hides behind careful PR language. When she speaks, it tends to be raw and real, and this statement was exactly that. But here is what makes this story more layered than it first appears. Most people who know the McCain name picture the senator, the war hero, the presidential candidate. Some picture Meghan, the fierce and often controversial co-host of The View. Doug, however, largely lived his life outside of the spotlight, and that choice tells you something about who he was. Doug grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, and later attended the University of Virginia, where he studied systems engineering. After graduating, he followed in his father's footsteps and became a Navy pilot, before going on to build a long career with American Airlines. So this was a man of discipline, of service, of quiet dedication. Doug was the son of Carol Shep, John McCain's first wife, and was later adopted by the senator after the couple married in 1965. That detail matters because it gives you a window into a family dynamic that was far more complicated and far more human than the polished political image most people associate with the McCain name. In the 2018 documentary John McCain, For Whom the Bell Tolls, Doug opened up about what it was like growing up as the eldest child of one of the most recognized names in American politics. He said, "It was just different. It took some time getting used to. We're not extraordinarily close, but if I ever need something, I know how to reach them." That kind of honesty is rare. He was not performing closeness for the cameras. He was just telling the truth about a blended, complicated, deeply American family that was doing its best. And if you are finding this story interesting, if you appreciate content that goes deeper than the headlines, please take a second right now to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It genuinely helps more people find these stories, and it keeps this community growing. His obituary described him as a loyal friend to many, a devoted son, and a loving father to his children Caroline and Shep. It also noted that he had recently found great joy in becoming a grandfather to Teddy. Think about that for a moment. A man who had lived a full life, raised children, served his country, built a career, and was just beginning the chapter of being a grandfather, taken suddenly at 66. Meghan also asked for prayers for Doug's wife, Ashley, and their children. The family is now navigating grief in a very public way, which is something the McCains have unfortunately had to do before. Senator John McCain passed away in August of 2018 after a battle with brain cancer. Now, less than a decade later, the family is saying goodbye again. What strikes me about this story is not just the sadness of it, but the reminder it carries. Doug McCain was not a senator. He was not a television personality. He was a pilot, a father, a grandfather, a brother. He was the kind of person who brought humor and warmth into every room he walked into, and yet most of the world had no idea he existed until the day he died. There is something quietly devastating about that, and also something worth honoring. The response online has been overwhelmingly warm. People who have never met this family are leaving messages about losing siblings, about how grief changes you, about how the death of a brother feels like losing a piece of your own history. Because at the end of the day, famous last name or not, this is a story about a family losing someone they loved without any warning. Our thoughts go out to Meghan, to Ashley, to Caroline, to Shep, and to every single person who had the privilege of knowing Doug McCain. May he rest in peace.